I just came across what might be the most hilarious game launch I have ever seen, the worst game launch I've ever seen, the worst received game launch I've ever seen, and the biggest failure of early access I have ever seen. This gaming company released the game in early access, and before the game was even out of the week, they say it failed so poorly it shut down their entire gaming company. But it's still in early access. They will not continue to develop it. And by the way, you can still actively, to right this second this is being recorded, purchase the game, even though hours ago they stated they're never going to work on it again. And it is in early access. I am, of course, referring to the day before. You can watch the trailer if you want, but there's no point because you're probably not going to purchase it. Look at these reviews. Overwhelmingly negative. 18,841 reviews. And it is overwhelmingly negative. I was wondering why everything I had seen on Twitter was talking about how bad this game is. And like this gentleman says, game is shutting down, do not buy. In fact, if you look at these reviews, you can see many of these reviews, people refunded the game. Now, if you're wondering what the day before is, it's effectively a zombie MMO. And it was released on December 7th. So it's another one of these survival MMOs, third-person shooters, early access games. On release, it was received very poorly, and then we got this statement from them here just today. Today, we announced the closure of Fantastic Studio. Unfortunately, the day before has failed financially, and we lack the funds to continue. All income received is being used to pay off debts to our partners. And again, you can still purchase it, okay? But it makes sense. They got to pay off their debts, right? We invested all our efforts, resources, and man hours into the development of the day before, which was our first huge game. We really wanted to release new patches to reveal the full potential of the game, but unfortunately, we don't have the funding to continue the work. Notice how they keep mentioning the funding. Their focus is entirely on the money. It's important to note that we didn't take any money from the public during the development of the day before. There were no pre-orders or crowdfunding campaigns. We worked tirelessly for 5 years, pouring our blood, sweat, and tears into the game. No pre-orders, no crowdfunding. Oh wait, but there is actually early access game for $40 on Steam, which is no longer being developed. They say they're going to keep these servers operational, but the game's dog shit anyway, so if you want to purchase a dog shit game that will not be fixed if it's dog shit, you go right ahead. They have debts to pay. At the moment, the future of the day before and Prop Night is unknown, but the servers will remain operational. We apologize if we didn't meet your expectations. We did everything within our power, except continuing to develop the game. It was released 4 days ago. Unfortunately, we miscalculated our capabilities. Creating games is an incredible, challenging endeavor. We're grateful to everyone who supported us during the difficult years. It's been a fantastic journey over the past 8 years. And then they have the history of what they've done with the game from 2015, opening the studio, releasing the Wild 8, Dead Dozen, Radiant 1, Prop Night, and then the day before, which was the one that sunk the studio. The Twitter replies are a little brutal. So if you actually look at these here, oh, wow, from Code Carnage, I'm asking why you can still purchase this. And if you go down this, people are literally just calling it a scam and calling them pieces of shit, asking for lawsuits. It's a good old time. Standard Twitter. So I'm not really a fan of this still being available in early access nor the milk money to pay their debts. The reason is if you actually read why this is in early access, they talk many times about being able to continue development of the game, hoping to release for around 6 to 8 months, but this could change. I don't think just saying, oh, we plan to develop the game, but it could change, suddenly gives you an out of, okay, well, we're going to sell it under early access and do nothing. It says here the price will be increased in full release, but there will be no full release. This review right here is probably the most pointed one out of all of them. This is an example of a situation where, in my personal opinion, Steam should pull this game from the store. They shouldn't be able to sell a game for $40 under the guise of continuing to develop the game with the money going into it while knowingly having statements out saying that, guess what, we're actually not going to develop this game at all, and you're just fucked if you buy it. I mean, I can understand a game being underdeveloped on being sold. Look, we have No Man's Sky. It came out. I wanted the refund when I purchased No Man's Sky and found out multiplayer literally wasn't in the game on release, and they promised it. but then 10 years later, they're still developing the game. This is a situation where they're not even continue to develop the game at all. On Twitter, this response was posted as a response to their original tweet saying, "Please don't accuse us of scamming. That's not true. We didn't take a penny from anyone." But they're taking pennies from people right now under the guise of being early access, meaning it's earlier access. This is now a full release. This gentleman posted a screenshot showing that they sold 351,000 copies, also known as $12 million. I don't know how much debt they went in order to develop this game, but if that isn't doing it for them, I don't know. 350,000 copies sold seems pretty good, even though it does have a 19% positive review rate. They go on to make posts and throw out little kind of vague threats about disinformation that will be dealt with so that other small and medium-sized studios won't have to deal with this. And maybe they can help out other novice studios, even though their studio went under. Destroying is easy. Creating is difficult. Yeah, I guess it is pretty hard, isn't it? But destroying the game that you're still selling, yeah, that is pretty easy. I'm not really against the concept of early access, slowly paying to develop a game. But if that is something that the audience is going to do, then I would hopefully hold it upon the platform, in this scenario, Steam, to actually hold the early access creators accountable for the products they are selling on their platform. Literally, the first line in the partner agreement for early access is Steam Early Access enables you to sell your game on Steam while it is still being developed and provide context to customers that the product should be considered unfinished. This is definitely an unfinished product, but it's in the first half of that line that the product still needs to be developed. This is no longer a Steam Early Access product, therefore Steam should remove this product. It goes on to state, early access is not a way to crowdfund development of your product. I would assume they also mean is not a way to pay off your debts that closed out your studio after the game is no longer being developed and does not fall under early access anymore. Make no mistake, there is only one reason why a studio that is closing down and not developing their product would still put early access out there to be purchased. That is to continue to make money. Making money in and of itself is not an immoral, wrong thing to do. However, when you sell a product as an early access game, you are bluntly stating this is continuing to be developed, even though it is factually not. I can click in cart and purchase this game right now, and even though I can do that, I know 100% my money is only going to pay off their debts and will not further the development of this game, therefore voiding my agreement with Steam in their early access policy. Steam, please remove this game from early access. It is obvious what is going on with this one. Most hilarious game launch I've seen so far. The game was out for a total of 4 days before they announced its closure. Oh, sorry. Servers will still be operational. The studio's closing, not the game. But that's about it for today. I got to go live and play some Path of Exile, a game that is continuing to be developed and that I am continuing to fund, if I'm being quite honest with myself. Love you all, and I'll see you on the next video.